do you know like at all at this point? I think we've been working together for like a year and a half probably now. Do you think
Yeah,
do you think you have any idea of like a ballpark of maybe what we might have sent you at this point?
yeah, that's a good question. I have it broken down at the office, to be honest with you.
Okay,
I don't have it with me, but I
that's
would
okay.
probably say, my let's go. Let's look at the last little bit here. So, like this month, um, probably did from. I only worked 2 weeks this month, but of those 2 weeks, they were pretty packed with
Nice.
stuff we got from consoles. So I'm gonna have to break it down, but I would say we probably do an implant marketing. We do about 200,000 a month from just the implant stuff. So that's probably a good benchmark. Like you guys have proven that you're consistent. So
Cool.
yeah.
Well, I
Mhm.
appreciate that. That's cool.
You guys do a little bit of screening about finances and different things. So they've been
Mhm.
screened a little bit. But it's one thing to come in and discuss it. I think the things that you have to have systems in place. When you have systems in place, then it works. So you have to have a website that kind of,
Right.
I mean, ours doesn't tell a perfect story, but it tells a good story. And
Yeah.
so I think that if you can, they know who the doctor is, they can look at some cases you've done, or they can see something there. Then you talk to them and you ease their concerns. Even I would say, if you're doing a 30% or 30 to 40% of your consults you're closing, then you're doing a great job,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
you're going to do well. But I would say you guys do a nice job screening them, getting them to us, and then we have to take it from there. So we have a dedicated consult room where we do a 3D image. We bring it up, we talk about their problems, and we discuss any issues that they have. We try to be honest in the fact that if this is the wrong thing, then we tell them, and we
Yeah.
just say you need something else, or don't do anything. That this is the wrong approach. Then and they're appreciative of that, and I think it's better that way. But I definitely think this is a growing business. I mean, a growing need in the United States, and wherever you are, you can capitalize on this and
Yeah.
make it a big part of your practice.
Yeah. Definitely. I totally agree. And so that's great. Are you the one once they come into the office, do you do that full consult, or do you have like you obviously probably have a treatment coordinator or somebody that's
Right. So I have an assistant take the X-ray, the 3D image, and then she
okay?
brings it up in the room, and
Cool.
then I have models there. So the models are all available. I have some All-on-X models, and I have some implant retained denture models, and I just have
Mhm.
some regular dentures, and we talk about all of them, and then we talk
Cool.
about what their needs are, where it fits, and what possibly is the best fit for them.
Okay.
And it
Cool.
surprises you. Don't judge a book by its cover, because people can find a way to finance things even if they don't have credit or they can't do it. So you just need to present it in a way that's approachable, and they have to have confidence in you as a person to be able to deliver that, and also to trust.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah,
Do you have any like single story where somebody was really seemed like they couldn't weren't
yeah.
going to be able to
I had
afford it?
did an All-on-X case yesterday, and
Mhm.
it was a good case. He was about a 40-year-old guy who
Yeah.
teeth were in horrible shape. Rode the bus over here.
Hmm.
We talked to him about what his needs are, and I kind of put him in the boat of a denture or denture retained or implant retained dentures. And we treatment planned him. He said, I want the All-on-X. We said, how's your credit? He goes, my dad's can pay for everything. So,
Oh
and
wow.
we get that sometimes, but honestly, I think you just need to talked to him, and
Mhm.
he was able to get this done. And he loved it. It was a great thing.
Yeah.
And I think the thing you got to look at, you got to find your system. I use BioHorizons for my implants. I think they're one
Okay.
of the better implant companies. And then I use NDX Sequence for the guides, and they'll do an all next guide for you from start to finish. And if you just follow those instructions and work with that, then you're going to have a pretty good way of doing things. And so, I would say get a system in place, get your marketing system, get your implant system in place, and have confidence in it. And then don't be afraid to have a budget that you don't think is possible, but you just need to do it, because the more consults you get in there, the better you're gonna get at doing consults. And so
Definitely.
it just works that way.
Yeah. So you are pretty involved in the whole consult process. It
I
sounds like.
spend 10-15 minutes with them.
Okay, 10, 15 minutes, and then the treatment coordinator is pretty much
Correct.
spending the rest of the time. Okay,
Uh-huh.
cool. That makes
And
sense.
they'll check their credit, and they'll check things that they need to help get financed. And
Right. And are you guys applying them for financing there during the
we
consult?
are.
Okay.
Yeah, we are.
Right on.
Yeah, we are. We're using Care Credit, and we're using some other different credit to places to get them financed.
Okay.
Mhm.
Cool. So you make sure you guys do that. I like that. You do it in the office. You don't like send
Absolutely.
them home, because
No.
some of our dentists do that. They're like, oh, they kind of dropped off, but it's like, well, sending
Once
them
they
home
go
and
home-
asking them to do it.
Once they go home and haven't signed up, they're not coming back.
Yeah.
Most likely. I mean,
Makes
you just
sense.
have to just, if they're not going to sign and get ready to go to it now, chances are they're not coming back. I mean,
Yeah.
most likely. I'm not trying to. I'm just
Yeah.
saying, follow up's harder than getting it done.
Definitely. That makes sense. Okay. Cool. And then what about like in situations where you get someone, I'm sure this happens, where they can't afford it, or I'm sure you get people who show up to a consult and they're on Medicaid or Medicare. Like, how do you work with those people, or do you just like politely kind of turn them away, or what's the process with?
Question. I have been politely turning them away, to be honest. But the other thing too is there's some companies out there who can help you bill for Medicaid, Medicare, and I'm trying to look into that. And I'll have some more answers as I go along that, and I'll share them with you. If I find a good one, I'll share it. But I
Awesome.
have one right now, but it is a huge problem. I mean, this has to be affordable for everybody, and it's not right now. And there's got to be a way. And you might say, well, it's a hassle to bill Medicare, Medicaid, but at the same time, you're doing them a great favor, and you can bill out and make it profitable, I think. And hopefully I learned that system and I can share it with you.
That'd be sweet. Yeah. That's great. Because obviously that's like a big point of, there's a lot of people that are on that and they need help, and they can't get it. And so that's cool.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So like for now, the answer to that's basically just politely turn them away, but maybe there's solutions.
Honestly, there's a large portion of people who can't afford it, and that's just the reality for most of it. But that's where the calling, the screening comes. I mean, that's why you use and that's why you use Grillo. You use Grillo so that they can screen those a little bit and try and get ahead of the problem, so that you don't run into that as much.
Exactly. Yep, that's the point. That's what we're going for.
Yeah,
that makes sense. So, Dr. Morgan, as far as like once you start to take a consult, is the treatment coordinator dealing with a lot of maybe objections that come up, questions, concerns? They're the ones answering that most of the time?
Well, so the assistant goes over their needs. First of all, they write them down, and then I read them before I get in there, and then I go over them for 10 to 15 minutes, and then I turn over to the treatment coordinator. So between we can answer their needs. The biggest question is, can they finance it? And so, I mean, as long as they trust you, then the financing part is the thing that needs to be ironed out the most.
Definitely.
From my perspective.
Yeah. And you save the financing part till the end of the consult? you're not talking, bringing that up at the beginning, or
I talk to it. I mean, I tell people if they ask me point blank, I'll tell them. I mean,
cool.
at some point you have to be able to talk to people about money.
Yep.
If it's $60,000 for an all-on-X case, you better be able to talk to them about it, because you can't force somebody else to and you not own it.
Yeah.
And so you need to be able to say, you know what, this is 60 grand, or that is 35,000, or whatever, and be able to say it's expensive and this is how you're going to do it. And you got to be able to not flinch and just say, it is what it is. And, you know, we love you, would love to help you, but this is the hurdle we have to get through, and just find a way, find a way to make it work. And you can.
I really like that. That's awesome.
You know, and the worst part of it is if you got a treatment plan coordinator, somebody in your office who says that this isn't working, you might look at getting rid of them instead of getting rid of other things, because there are people who have attitudes that, you know, they say they can't do it. Well, you're right. If you think you can't, you can't. And so you need to have an attitude of, you know, this is how we're doing, this is what we're doing. And you push through the stops and barriers, and you just get it done and work through the issues.
Okay. I like that a lot. That's awesome. Yeah. It's a lot of a mindset.
Absolutely. Almost, if you don't think you can and they don't think you can, you can't.
Yeah, definitely. I like that.
And I've also have a sedation certificate through, I got my moderate sedation certificate, which is another thing that has been a real good thing. And it's, you know, it's probably 100 hours of training, but it's still something that people value. And I think it makes a difference, just because, you know, the way I do it is I offer it to them and then I put an extra fee on there. But I also have hired a nurse to do the IV and to monitor. And then I, of course, do the meds with the nurse and do it that way. But it works good. And I think to have that is a real boon to our practice, just because people want to be relaxed, and they, you know, whether you have to hire a nurse anesthetist or whatever you have to do to make them comfortable in your office. I think that's a huge thing, because, you know, if you have a 5-hour surgery appointment, they need to be comfortable and they need to feel like they're going to be able to make it. And the moderate sedation certificate is just good for that. It's they don't remember, they're fine, and you can get them comfortable.
Yeah, that's perfect. It's like super fitting. Yeah. Makes sense. Cool. One other question, like on the financing, what I definitely know that that's super important. What percentage or like ratio do you think it is of people that actually do pay in cash versus like need financing? Majority need financing.
Oh,
I would assume
75% need financing. 25% can pay for it in cash.
Okay. So for the
you know, the thing that you need to make sure you do is take into account those financing fees, because they're expensive. And so you need to make sure that's built into your projections with your final cost. And you don't need to absorb it. The patient does through the company, but the financing company is going to put a portion on you, and you need to make sure that if you know they're financing, they need to have that fee built in so that you don't stop taking.
That's a good way to do it. Do you know what it is? Is it like 10%, 15%?
It's probably 10%.
Like 10.
10%. Yeah, I can find out specifically, but I think it's probably that much that we take off through the fees.
Okay. That's super helpful, because we have had some clients and have some clients that like they just don't even have any financing available. So it's like you're missing out on maybe 75% of deals that you could potentially have by not offering that.
You know, the thing is we've gone to some banks too recently, because Care Credit only goes to a certain limit, and then there's some other financing companies out there that if you search for them and look for it, you can find some deals with them. But you know, you got to look, and you got to do your homework, and you got to, if this is part of your practice, you got to do your homework and work hard to figure these things out. They don't just jump out at you.
Exactly. Yeah. No, that makes sense. So like during the consult, how are you towards the end of it? How are you getting commitment? Obviously you're applying them for financing. what's like the process then there towards the end of the consult that kind of like gets them like, okay, we're doing this, we're moving forward. Are they scheduling their next appointment? Are they like signing some kind of agreement, or what's that
Well,
commitment?
so two things for their commitment. I
Okay.
kind of make sure that we've hit their needs and that they understand that what we've treatment planned is what they want. And when I say that, I mean I get verbal confirmation from them that, yeah, this is what I want, this is what I'm after. You've hit the nail on the head. Then I send it over to the treatment coordinator. She gets all the information, goes through it. Then we put down a 10% deposit to make sure that they're committed. If we don't put them on the schedule until they've paid 10%.
Okay. Gotcha. So that's usually probably what, like a few grand, like
At
to
least.
get their skin in the game.
Yeah,
Okay.
they need some skin in the game. If they don't, then they're not really interested. They're just window shopping, and that needs to be something that is part of your. Yeah, don't mess with people who haven't put anything down. It's too much work.
Yeah. And you're having them do that before they leave the console.
Correct. Yeah, we don't
Okay.
put on the schedule until they've paid their portion.
Nice. I like that. That's great. Do you
And
guys
don't say
offer?
you can't. Don't be afraid of it either. I mean, you gotta not be afraid of it. You can't be afraid of these things, because the bolder you are, the more they'll know how serious you are, and you're not gonna waste people's time.
Yeah, like this is just our protocol. This is how we do it. If you're going to be moving forward.
Yeah. Right.
Yep. I like that. Do you offer any like incentives for people if they're kind of on the fence? Do you ever help people out or incentivize them to move forward if they're kind of on the fence? Or usually not. You just like,
they ask, this is our price. I mean, so no, I don't incentivize a lot of things. Once you do that, no. So no, I don't offer discounts just to offer discounts.
Yep.
So
no, that's good. That's good. I was just curious. Oh, that's good.
You don't go in and get an Apple computer and say, hey, can I get, you don't ask for a discount most of the time when you go buy an iPhone or something like that. So
you're not gonna try to barter.
This work is hard enough. And so you need to own it and say, it is what it is, because I'll tell you what, you have to sometimes babysit those cases. And sometimes, an implant will fail or something will go wrong and you have to replace it and do a bone graft, and you have to be okay with that. And if you discount things, then you haven't built in any cushion for yourself. So
makes sense.
I think you just need to be aware that, understand that you can do it without discounts.
Yeah.
You can.
Yeah. I like that. I think that's a good way to approach it.
Yeah.
Right on. Cool. So in this whole process, like, I really appreciate like all the insight you've shared. Like, it's helpful for me too, because I'm trying to learn better also what's going on the other side, like once people come in.
Yeah.
So what do you think of like that whole process? Like, what do you think is the most important piece of it? Like, obviously the financing is really important, getting them to trust you. Is there like one piece that could, if you improved or you worked on, that a dentist could really see people start converting?
Yeah. There's two things. There's number one, having confidence in yourself and in your system. And you have to put people out there. You have to have a treatment plan coordinator that has confidence in what you're doing, and your staff. They will sell it for you. Have a good before and after picture book that you have that can really explain a lot of stuff. But I would say that, and then getting over the finance hurdle, have options so that they have that. You have that in-house and ready to go for them. And then, do your best to present and know that you've done your best, and just go from there. You're always evolving in dentistry and in life. You have to keep learning, and you have to get better at it, and you can, but you have to do some homework for it. You got to be able to look at different things and be able to be humble enough to change your ways if it's not working. And I think once you do that, then you can have success. But sometimes you have to learn the hard way that you need to replace somebody in your staff,
Yeah.
or you need to change yourself and look at things differently, and things can come to fruition the way you want them to.
Yeah, I really like that. Some
Yeah.
good words of advice. Right on.
Yeah.
I like that. Cool. Do you have any other tips or like words of advice for dentists who might be struggling to convert consults?
Yeah. Well, I would say, first of all, make sure you have good information. Number one, make sure you have a good 3D image, and that you have a good base knowledge of what you need to do and how you need to do it, and then have confidence in it. And don't sweat the small things, because no case is perfect, and you just got to go through it and use your training that you've got to the best of your ability. You know, in dentistry, sometimes the voices in your head can get it inside of you and make you think that you can't do something, and you got to be able to push through it. And you own that. You own the option of learning how to do something, perfecting it, and doing better at it. Or you have the option to clam up, forget about it, and do basic stuff. And I think our profession is awesome, because you can do a lot of great surgeries that you want to do. If you have the training and you're ready for it, then go for it, and challenge yourself, and don't be afraid, because if you fear this, then you're missing out on such a sweet portion of dentistry, because it's great. People love it. It's life-changing for them, and it's an awesome opportunity for you to bring something of value to the community. We're in a better spot than medical doctors. We're in a better spot than a lot of people, because they don't have these options. Yeah. And just don't be afraid of anything. Just go for it, and like I said, once you're trained up and you have confidence in what you're doing, then go out there and do it. Find a good system like Grillo, and put it to the test, and refine the process to where you get some success. And put somebody in charge. Find a good salesperson that understands what you're trying to do, and go for it.
Yeah, I love that. That's awesome. I think I've heard it said that your business is like a reflection of yourself and your personal life. So a lot of it is like you're saying, leveling up yourself and your own confidence and your own skills and abilities and beliefs. Yeah. And the business will kind of follow.
Right. Yeah. Don't
cool.
Be afraid of not being perfect at it, not having the perfect case, not having the perfect outcome, because that's how you learn, and that's what you change, and that's what you modify to get better. And you keep growing, and you keep doing it, and you will succeed.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Dr. Morgan. I mean, that's all the questions I've got for you for now. So
good.
I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Keep growing, and you guys are doing awesome. Just keep growing, doing what you're doing.
Sounds good. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Morgan. I really appreciate it.
Have a great day.
Thanks. You too. Have a good one. Bye.